Please welcome Christy Bolander, Executive Director of Colorado State University's Alumni Association.
Good evening. This must be a Colorado State University event because everybody's having a blast getting reconnected. I love it. It is so wonderful to look out at this audience and see such an amazing group of alumni and friends of Colorado State University. Thank you so much for being here to honor our 2018 Distinguished Alumni Award recipients. First, though, I would like to take a few moments to recognize several special guests who are with us this evening. We're going to start with Senator John Kafalas, Colorado Senate District 14. The 14th President of Colorado State University, Dr. Tony Frank. And the members of the President's Cabinet and the deans of our colleges. I would also like to thank our members of the Alumni Association whose continued support allows us to bring programs like this to you tonight. Members help keep all of our RAMs connected, so thank you for your generous commitment to CSU and to your Alumni Association. And members, you're going to find a little sweet treat on your table tonight. I'd also like to recognize, and this group is notoriously cheerful when I give them a little shout out, so I'm ready for it. The College of Natural Sciences for their premier level sponsorship. We appreciate your great support of this event. It's almost like they practice it. A special thank you also to the Walter Scott Jr. College of Engineering for being tonight's gold level sponsors. And now I have a list of table sponsors I'm going to recognize, and we're going to do this athletic style. Does that sound okay? So instead of every table getting a long round of applause, we're going to do 2 claps for everybody. Does that sound fair? Is that good? It's going to be a test. Table sponsors: College of Agricultural Sciences, College of Business, College of Health and Human Sciences, College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, Warner College of Natural Resources, Department of Athletics, University of Advancement Development. Thank you all so much for your special support of this event. Tonight, we're also honored to be joined by several Distinguished Alumni Award recipients from our past. If you have received a Distinguished Alumni Award in the past, could you please stand so we can all recognize you? Thank you all again for being here to celebrate this year's honorees. It's my favorite time of the year, homecoming and family weekend. And there is no better way to kick off our celebration of CSU pride and traditions than the Distinguished Alumni Awards. We truly have a special group of honorees this year. Some of you I have known for years and years, and some of you I have just met for the first time tonight. The common bond, though, between you all is the inspiration and the purpose in your stories. And I cannot wait for everybody here tonight to have the opportunity to hear your stories and learn of your amazing impact. As I prepared my remarks for this evening, I couldn't help thinking about last week and President Frank's fall address. Something in his speech as he was speaking made me think about tonight, this night, and all of you who are going to be honored this evening. Dr. Frank charged his audience to lean in to life's important and often difficult tasks. The tasks that we will look back on in 10 years and know that they were really hard, but they made a big difference. And it occurred to me that all of you, our alumni and friends who we are honoring this evening, you have been leaning in for a long time. You're leaning in, you're shaping your communities, you're changing lives, you're changing Colorado, you're changing the world. So on behalf of the 225,000 alumni of Colorado State University, I am honored to be the first to officially congratulate you on your awards, and thank you so much for the honor that you have brought to your alma mater. Please enjoy your dinner now in the company at your tables, and we'll continue with the program shortly. Go Rams!
Please welcome Kim Tobin, Vice President for University Advancement.
Good evening. I hope you've had a lot of time to connect, and happy birthday to Kim. We saw a birthday cake come out, so happy birthday. It's great to see all the camaraderie and birthday celebrations and catching up and hearing all the stories that people are sharing about your accomplishment and your years at CSU. What a great evening to celebrate pride and tradition of Colorado State University. At Colorado State University, we all know Rams take care of Rams, and that spirit is alive and well in our community. Just last week, we were filled with gratitude to announce that we have reached the $1 billion milestone in the State Your Purpose campaign almost 2 years early. Thanks to all of you. Our alumni have been a driving force in reaching this goal. Over 50,000 alumni have given and participated in so many ways. The generosity is already being felt through transformational gifts, whether it's Walter Scott, who named our College of Engineering, Michael Smith, who's tomorrow will have the dedication of the Michael Smith Natural Resources Building and the Iris and Michael Smith Alumni Center, which is your home to come back to campus. We've also felt the collective generosity for alumni across our campus, whether it's supporting students who face food insecurity through Rams Against Hunger, ensuring students from independent backgrounds receive the support and encouragement they need to succeed through the Fostering Success program, or growing our alumni outreach programs and supporting scholarships through membership in our Alumni Association. Giving starts with what's in the heart, and we are grateful that CSU is in your hearts. Tonight, we'll hear more about how our distinguished alumni are making their mark on the world. But before we do that, I just want to say, thanks a billion. Our MCs this evening, we've had the pleasure to visit at our table with these two fine women. They're members of our Presidential Ambassador Program, who is just a super program that allows our students to interact with alumni and donors and friends of the university, and wonderful ambassadors. Both of our students are seniors this year, and I'm proud to introduce Yasmin Amon and Tamara Breidenbach, who are seniors. Yasmin is studying apparel design and is an active member of United Women of Color, Africans United, and the Fashion Report publication. Tamara is studying ecosystem science and sustainability, representing the Warner College of Natural Resources in student government, and is an active member of the College Honor Society. We are thrilled to have them here hosting our program. It's no easy task being up here on the podium, so welcome to our students who are going to help us through the evening. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you, Kim. I'm looking forward to being a part of this event. The success of our recipients and the way that they stay connected to CSU and give back is truly inspiring. I never dreamed I would have the opportunity like this, to be surrounded by such an accomplished group of CSU alumni.
I agree, Tamara. I'm so proud to be a CSU Ram, and I cannot wait to be part of the Alumni Association when I graduate. We're so glad that you all care to join us this evening and spend your time here in Fort Collins as we pay tribute to our most accomplished alumni. It is our pleasure to represent the CSU students here tonight. And before we get started, I would like to introduce Alumni Association Past Board President Mr. Ross Thompson, who will be here with us throughout the program, assisting with the award presentations.
At this time, we will begin with tonight's first award. The Distinguished Athletic Award recognizes an individual or couple for their commitment to the CSU Department Athletics and the contributions, efforts, and achievements they've made towards the success of Rams athletics. Terry Nugent was one of the Colorado State University's greatest quarterbacks, but his contributions to his alma mater go well beyond his impact on the football field. Throughout his career, he has been an enthusiastic and generous supporter of his alma mater, donating to the College of Business, Alumni Association, and athletics, and serving as a tireless volunteer and advocate for CSU, primarily in the Denver area. He has been an ardent supporter of the on-campus stadium project and established the Terry Nugent Football Scholarship, one of the first of its kind at CSU. Currently the Managing Director of Wealth Management from the Nugent Group with UBS, Terry has been ranked by Barron's as one of the top 15 financial advisors in Denver and has built a large and loyal list of clients. It is my pleasure to invite to the stage the 2018 Distinguished Athletic Award recipient, Terry Nugent. Please join me in
All right. First, like Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last, right? Thank you very much for having me. I came to CSU in 1980, and it was a spring. It was a January. It was a crystal clear, beautiful day, and I happened to come with my teammate from high school. We grew up in a small agricultural town in Northern California called Elk Grove, and the current director of football operations here is Tom Ellers, and Tom was my teammate in 4 years in high school, and we were recruited to CSU in that spring of 1980. Tom, stand up for a second if you would. So Tom was my center all through high school, all through college, and of course the joke that I always get is I know his ass better than anybody. But I'll never forget coming here, and it was just one of those crystal clear days in January, 60 degrees, snow on the ground. We go out to Hughes Stadium, and the geese are flying, and we're like, this is awesome. I mean, the town that we grew up in had one red light. That was it. And we're like, we're coming here. And then that was our first journey and our first step of coming to CSU. And, of course, when you're that age, you're 18 years old, you don't know how that may impact you or change your life or your future. The reality is that the awards like this, they're really not about me. It's about what are we going to do for the next generation. And what is the university going to do for me to help prepare myself so I can get that next generation in place. And fortunately, the career path that I took as a result of being here has allowed me to do that. And I look forward I've had the opportunity to give back to the university, and I'll continue to do something, continue to do that going forward. And it just gives me great pleasure to do that. But when you're on campus for the first time, you're 18 years old, and you look at the facilities that we had back then, you know, we just lived in the moment at that time. We didn't care about the facilities. We didn't care about the weight room. We just knew what we had to train with. We didn't have a training table, the nutritionists and the dietitians and 5 weight room coaches, but they have that now. And this facility over here, I'm telling you, is moving the dial because you have to have that. My youngest son's a senior in high school down in Highlands Ranch. He's got like 15 different D1 offers, including Colorado State. We spent the spring and the summer touring some of the best facilities across the country, the weight rooms, the football facilities, and I'm telling you, we got it going on over here. So from Joe Parker to Terry Hemme to David Crum and to Mike Bobo, and I'll tell you about Mike Bobo for a second. He took Drake, my youngest son, when that facility was being built, into his office, concrete floors, concrete walls, nothing had been done yet, and said to my son, I just want you to know you're going to be the first kid in this new facility that we're offering a football scholarship to come play at CSU. I tell you, it makes me want to cheer up right now. That's the kind of staff that we have in the building over here. That's what's moving the dial for us. That's why I love to give back to the university. And I'll continue to do that. And I'm telling you, we got it going on. It's not measured by the wins and the losses. It's what are we doing to encourage and to make this the type of institution that it can be relevant and dominant on a national level for many years to come. So thank you for recognizing me. Joe Parker, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But again, it's not about me. It's about us as a collective organization representing this institution and everything that we do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. I'm a little nervous having to go after that speech because it was so well done. Like, he didn't have note cards or anything. So up next, we are privileged to recognize our honor alumni from each college. Our first honoree is from the College of Agricultural Sciences, Leanne Saunders. Leanne is the... Oh, go ahead, clap, yes. Leanne Saunders is the co-founder, along with her husband, John, president and COO of Where Foods Come From, Incorporated, the leading agricultural and food verification and certification company in North America. Currently, she sits on the International Stockmen's Education Foundation Board of Directors, the University of Nebraska's Angler Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Board of Directors, and CSU Agricultural Sciences Dean's Advisory Council. We are proud to honor Leanne Saunders tonight as the 2018 College of Agricultural Sciences Honor Alumna.
Well, it is an honor and a privilege to be here this evening with all of the other distinguished alumni. I'm obviously not a quarterback, and so I'm probably going to look to you to see if you can help my kids get some D1 opportunities, because I've got 3 children sitting back there that would love to have those. But I want to start by saying, when you get up in this position, you're only here for all of those that helped you to get here and enabled you to have opportunities along the way. And so I want to thank a few people, just call out a few people tonight that really helped impact my life and helped me be here this evening. So first I want to say thanks to my granddad, who as a cattle rancher woke up every single morning and said, if you just look outside your front door, there are things to be done. And I think if we all live our lives with that simple phrase and we just look around us, there's always things to be done and things we can do to personally make an impact. And that's why we're all here this evening. Thanks to my dad, who when I wanted to go into civil engineering, because he has a civil engineering degree from Colorado State University, said, I had to help you get through trigonometry, so I don't think that's a good career path for you. Thanks for guiding me into ag business, because it became my passion. Thank you to a special group of people that showed up tonight, which was a surprise. At this university, I had the opportunity to really meet with some individuals and some professors that took a special interest in me as an individual. And I can't tell you the impact that made. They took the time to get to know me, to really understand my potential, and to put me in a position to be successful. Without Dr. Gary Smith, and please stand this evening, I would not have received the education that I received, been exposed to the global food industry, that we have a lot of challenging issues today. I would not have been exposed to those, to the industry leaders, and to be able to choose a career path that I chose. Thank you, Dr. Keith Belk,
for all of what you do in the College of Agricultural Sciences. Thank you to Tony Frank for bringing the A back to Colorado State University. As we look to feed a growing global population, and we try to do that with fewer natural resources, there's not a more noble profession than doing what we do in agriculture. So I'm very proud of the heritage and what we do. To my children, Dr. Tony Frank said something today: never limit yourself. All that limits you is what's in your own minds. And I have the podium tonight, so hopefully they're listening and not on their iPhones, Dr. Tony Frank. And he said something else that resonated. He said, always fight above your body weight. And so if you do that for the rest of your life, you'll be successful. And then a final thanks to my husband, the love of my life. It's been a wonderful 23 years building the business together. You're passionate. You're my soulmate and my very best friend. Thank you all this evening.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Next, the College of Business is honoring Arthur Valdez as their 2018 Honor Alumnus. Arthur was a first-generation college student from Southern Colorado and has had a remarkable and distinguished career since his time at CSU. Currently, he serves as the Chief Logistics Officer at Target, having previously served in a similar role at Amazon. He has served on the College of Business Global Leadership Council since 2014, providing valuable insight and counsel on the college's supply chain management program. As a passionate advocate for first-generation students, Arthur created the Valdez First Generation Scholarship to support a high-achieving first-generation student from Southern Colorado. Wanting to make a bigger impact, Arthur committed to supporting a second student scholarship in 2017. Through his philanthropy and advocacy for first-generation CSU students, Arthur epitomizes the saying, "Rams take care of Rams." Please join me in welcoming Arthur to the stage and congratulating him as this year's College of Business Honor Alumnus Award recipient.
Fantastic. How about waking up to that announcement 5:30 every morning, right? Getting ready to get your coffee and getting that introduction. That would be fantastic. So first, I'd be remiss if I did not tell you I'm here with my wife and my mother tonight. So Eddie and my wife and Xenia, my mother. Couldn't do it with either one of you. The power of women that you brought into my life and the support you've given me, I appreciate very much. So thank you for the continued support. And what I'd like to do is share a little bit more about me. The introduction was phenomenal, but just of where I'm from, right? Something I've done with my team, especially with the transition that I've made recently from Amazon to Target, getting that team to know me a little bit more. There's some things that I've shared with them that I'd love to share with you. So I'm from Southern Colorado. That's both Pueblo County and El Paso County. I'm from the first person in my family to graduate college. I'm from being uncomfortable as a middle-class minority student on a campus of mostly white students. I'm from being in a strong community on the CSU campus that provided me the right environment to build confidence that I could compete, learn, and work just as hard as any other student to progress in life. I'm from CSU, and I'm a Ram, all right? So I share that way, guys, because it's pretty emotional and pretty important to me that I came on this campus initially, and I wasn't sure where my place was. But as I got into the community, I started to work on campus, conference services. I got to meet others. I got to meet the professors, the people that kind of guided me and mentored me through the process. I really became a part of that community. And then you start your work life, and you kind of get separated from it. And you start working, you start developing, and you start growing a family with Eddie. We have 2 wonderful boys. And you start getting separated. And then one afternoon, I was sitting in a Amazon.com corporate office thinking about how to change the world, because that's what you do at Amazon. You think about how to change the world every day, right? And I got a call from Mike LaPlante. And Mike LaPlante said, hey, haven't seen or heard from you. Just want to let you know I'll be in that area in Seattle, and I'd love to make a connection with you to bring you back to the CSU community. And I didn't know how much I really wanted that, and I understood what that was going to mean until Mike and I really had some time, and I appreciated very much that connection around talking about what I had done in my career, who I was as a first-generation college student, who I was as a minority student, and how that could be impactful here on the campus to help reinforce for other students on the campus what that could mean. And now, guys, it means so much to me to come back on the campus. And Beth, you've been wonderful, Beth Walker, our Dean of the School of Business, and allowing me to be a part of the supply chain classes, allowing me to be a part of the first-generation college student discussions that are there and how to help and think through their next steps and what they need to do. Being a part of those connections as much as I can to help them in different jobs. Some today work at Amazon, hopefully more in the future at Target will work, right? As we continue to build our team there as well. But being able to support and provide opportunities for the CSU students is very important to me, and I couldn't have done it without the support of what Beth and Mike have continued to help me with and being that position and that voice here on campus. And then Ajay. I know Ajay's not here tonight, but Ajay Menon, who's very important, that sat down with me and was a little bit of a mentor for me. I shouldn't say a little bit, a lot of a mentor for me, and how to think about philanthropy. And what's the best way to do it, what's the best support to bring it about. And the Valdez Scholarship that's very important to me is focused on minority and women, El Paso County, Pueblo County, and reinforcing the opportunity for those students that don't have or that cannot have, how do we allow them to have? And it's an opportunity that my wife and I are very appreciative and respect very much. So when I think about that person who was on campus here discussing and trying to work through, is this the right place for me? Do I fit in? I know I fit in now, and I'm very appreciative to be in this room because, once again, I am a Ram. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Arthur, for that speech. Welcome our next Honor Alumna Award from the College of Health and Human Sciences, Danette Reagan. Danette worked as a registered clinical dietitian at Exemplar St. Joseph Hospital in Denver from the moment she graduated until her recent retirement. She is a dedicated alumna who has served on the university's Campaign Leadership Council, the College of Health and Human Sciences Executive Leadership, the Kendall Reagan Nutrition Center Board, and the Denver Athletic Advisory Board. Her generosity has helped grow the Kendall Reagan Nutrition Center, which provides service learning opportunities and training for students in the Department of Food Sciences and Human Nutrition, while enhancing community health through nutrition outreach, collaboration, and research. Reagan has been a longtime Ram fan and supporter of CSU athletics. She and her husband Monty are proud members of the 1870 Club, the Laurie Society, and they have a brick on the CSU Oval. Please join me in welcoming Danette Reagan to the stage and congratulating her as the College of Health and Human Sciences Honor Alumna Award recipient.
Okay, unlike Terry and Leanne, I have notes here, but it won't be 45 minutes, I promise you, okay? It is truly an honor to be here this evening and to be recognized by the university and the Fort Collins community. I was born and raised in Fort Collins, growing up north in the town, in the communities of Wellington and Waverly, Colorado, for those of you in this room. And there's some good friends in this room that I want to recognize in a little bit that we all grew up together, and many of us went to high school together that are here tonight. My dad was a farmer, so I appreciate what you talked about, Leanne. My dad was a farmer, and he raised corn, pinto beans, and wheat. in northern Colorado, and he later became one of the largest commercial hog farm producers in Colorado and in the United States. So I'm a farm girl from the ground up. My mom is here tonight with me, Judy, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and is those of you that are mothers, that's a full-time job. But she was also she's an accomplished seamstress, and she later had her own sewing shop in her home called Judy's Sewing Shop. So many of you know her as well in Fort Collins, being a great seamstress and sewing on wedding dresses and taking care of many of your family members. So thank you, Mom, for being here tonight. It's always been important to me to give back to the community in CSU, which has given me so much, and I'm truly blessed and grateful for that. My success over the past 30 years as a clinical dietitian, I first started in long-term care in the Boulder, Denver area, and then I moved into working at St. Joseph Hospital in Denver. So I've always loved what I did, and I think all of us in this room with our professions that we gained from CSU, our passion is what we learned in our education, and depending on where we go in life with that. But I always believed it was important to me to give back to CSU and what I gained from the mentors and my education here. And about 10 years ago, the Nutrition Center was started by Melissa Wadowik, who recently retired. And Pat Kendall, who's sitting at our table tonight, is a good friend. And Pat Kendall is a registered dietitian as well. And we always had a passion for nutrition education. And we became involved in this center in 2011. And again, this is 10 years since the center was in, the conception of it, and then Pat and I became involved in 2011 as we believed in the mission. The first mission is to provide experiential learning and service learning opportunities for the students in food science and human nutrition. The second mission of the center is to improve the health of the community through nutrition education and outreach. The third mission is to collaborate with CSU colleagues in conducting cutting-edge research. And as a clinical dietitian, and Pat and myself, we went to school here and we sat in classrooms, but we never had the opportunity to practice what we were learning with patients or clients. And that's what the Nutrition Center is doing today for our students in food science and human nutrition, and that's truly important to me, to give them a taste of the real world, what it is outside of the classroom. The Kendall Reagan Nutrition Center continues to grow and thrive, and a branch of the center was opened in the new CSU Health and Medical Center. This is a special evening to share with my husband, Monty, who's a converted Ram fan who grew up in North Carolina. He didn't know what CSU was or what it was about, but he certainly does now. Also, I want to recognize my dear friend, Kristen Anderson is here. Been friends since 7th grade. We're 12 years old. Brett Anderson, I want to recognize him. I also want to recognize Dean and Dawn Krakemeyer. We all went to high school together at Pooter High School. So talk about a small world. And later you'll hear from Dr. Bill Lance. So Bill and Sharon Lance are here tonight. And I remember as a little girl going to their house for dinner, and Dawn and her brother John and my brother John, we would all get together and play. So it is a small world. So thank you. What a special night to share this with you. Also, special thanks to Tony Frank. Thank you for your leadership at the university. You are a true gem, and we are truly grateful. Also want to recognize Jeff McCubbin, as the Dean of Health and Human Sciences. We truly appreciate your leadership and what you've done for our college. Words cannot express my gratitude to you. Also, I want to recognize Mike Pagliasati, who's the head of the Food Science and Human Nutrition Department at CSU, who's a wonderful man and a brilliant man. So thank you for being here tonight. And also Pat and Larry Kendall, who have been great friends throughout the years, and we are side by side together. In closing, Monty and I had dinner this past week with a dear friend of ours, Dr. Claudia Carroll. And Claudia is a brilliant psychologist, but her specialty is in child abuse and things like that. But Claudia also, she speaks to Monty and I a lot about families. And the first thing that Claudia's taught us, she said, the first family each of us has is the family we're born into. We have no choice about that. It's who our parents are, who our siblings are. That's our extended family. But the other family, which is just as important, is our chosen family. And the wonderful people that I've met over the years at CSU and that I'm sharing this evening with tonight, some great friends over the last 30-some years, are part of my chosen family, and I'm truly grateful for that. So go Rams, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your inspiring speech, Danette. Our next recipient is David Freed, the honor alumnus for the College of Liberal Arts. Upon graduation, David joined the Los Angeles Times, where he served as their lead police reporter, reporting from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Iraq during Operation Desert Storm. David was an individual finalist for the Pulitzer Gold Medal in Public Service and later shared a Pulitzer for the newspaper's team coverage of the 1992 Rodney King riots in Los Angeles. He authored more than a dozen feature-length film scripts and worked as a contractor for the nation's intelligence community, including the CIA, DIA, and the Army's Battle Command Battle Lab. In 2016, Freed was inducted into the Colorado State University Media Hall of Fame. In 2017, David and his wife, Betsy, established the David and Elizabeth Freed Print and Digital Journalism Scholarship Endowment that supports Department of Journalism and Media Communications students who focus their studies in print and digital journalism. Congratulations to David Freed as the 2018 honor alumnus for the College of Liberal Arts.
Well, it's funny how capricious life can be. When I was thinking about going to college, I grew up in suburban Denver. Back in the day, the application fee for in-state tuition, or in-state students, I think, was about $25, and I only had $25. So it was a choice between the University of Colorado and Colorado State, and I chose Colorado State because I knew it was far enough away from home that I wouldn't have to shovel snow on the weekends. I could stay up here. I teach here in the fall, and I live the rest of the year in California. And so before the semester started, I got a call one day, my phone rang, and it was Dean Ben Withers from the College of Liberal Arts. And my first thought when he called was that he was letting me know that I'd been fired. And then when he proceeded to explain the purpose of the call, that I would be here tonight sharing this wonderful evening with all of you, my second thought was that my academic records as a student had been washed away in the Great Flood, along with my grade point average, such as it was. In the inimitable words of the great Denver Bronco tight end Shannon Sharp, I didn't graduate magna cum laude, I graduated thank you laude. I owe a great deal to this university, to say the least. It was here that I learned to construct a cogent sentence and put together a paragraph. It was here where I learned how to construct a news story. Perhaps more significantly for purposes of this evening, it's also where I learned to be brief. I attained any number of skills here that lent themselves to the pursuit of a career which has been very satisfying and oftentimes very fun for me. That career took me first off to Colorado Springs, where probably the greatest, most significant moment of my life occurred, where I met my brilliant and beautiful wife, Betsy, and it was all kind of bloomed from there. The news media today gets kind of a bad rap in some circles, as we all know. But what I learned on this campus is that journalists and journalism serve a vital purpose to maintain the vitality of our democracy in this republic. And I am very proud and very honored to help prepare the next generation of journalists to go out into the world and in defense of the public's right to know. Thank you very much, and go Rams.
Thank you, David. Welcome our next Honor Alumni Award recipient from the College of Natural Sciences, Dr. Brent Keeler and Marianne Keeler. Dr. Keeler and Marianne met at Colorado State University and have spent their time giving back to the College of Natural Sciences. Dr. Keeler is a Colorado native and received his bachelor's from Colorado State University. He later earned his MD from the University of Colorado, after which he served for 4 years as an obstetrics and gynecology resident physician at Exemplar St. Joseph's Hospital in Denver. Dr. Keeler is board certified in OBGYN and has delivered more than 5,000 babies during his career. He has held leadership positions in the medical community, including Chief of Staff at the Medical Center of Aurora, President of the Colorado Gynecological and Obstetrical Society, and President of the Colorado Medical Society. Marianne shared the passion of women working in the sciences and working at the Women's Clinic, which the couple own together. Together, they are longtime supporters of the College of Natural Sciences in Natural Sciences program. They are very passionate about supporting women in the sciences and truly believe in improving the future through higher education, and have encouraged each other to give and others to give, and are longtime supporters and advocates for the College of Natural Sciences at CSU. Please help me in congratulating our College of Natural Sciences honor alumni, Dr. Brent Keeler and Marianne Keeler.
So, you know that thing you got in your second grade report card that says follows directions well? There's the other one about works and plays well with others. So, thank you very much for this honor. I want everyone to just think internally for a minute and don't raise your hand or stand, please. That would be a HIPAA violation. But there's more than one person in this room, I'm sure, who has an implantable medical device in their body. A pacemaker, an insulin pump, some such device. It turns out that the body actively works to destroy those and reject them. And we have tonight Professor Reynolds from the chemistry department who's working on a way to prevent this from happening. Melissa, would you please stand? Thank you. This brings us to a conversation that we had with our youngest daughter when she was a junior in high school. She came home one day and she said, I kind of have the impression that girls don't do physics. Somebody told her that. Big mistake. She's now an assistant professor of physics at Arizona State University. Okay? And that leads us to the power of women in the natural sciences. And this WINS, W-I-N-S, Women in Natural Sciences program, is our favorite baby, if you will, and we support it, we endorse it, we stand for it. We've got a ways to go, okay? In chemistry, Melissa told me that we're turning the corner, maybe. In other programs like physics, not so much. Our daughter will go to a conference and she'll be the only woman there. Now, she says that's good because the ladies' room is never crowded, okay? But the point is that women, if a society takes women and puts sort of a lid on, then half the talent is going away and being suppressed. Our daughter looked at me one day when I said that, and she says, "You know, Dad, it's more than half."
Don't let him stand behind me. Evidently, today when I was giving my speech at the Natural Science Alumni Association, he was making faces while I talked. So I don't. What I want to do is, I want to thank my chosen family, which includes Jen and Simone. Because of the two of them, we have increased our contributions to women in natural science, as well as a scholarship that we started this year. But our inspiration was Dr. Tony Frank, because we are both very much Lincolnophiles, and he often quotes Abraham Lincoln and the great experiment that he started, which is why we are all here and why CSU exists, but also that this great experiment was to give education to the common. And I'm not going to say man, I know that's what Abraham Lincoln said, but to the common people. And that is why we give, and that is why we are Rams. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brent Keeler and Marianne Keeler. We appreciate your presence here today. Next, we will recognize our honor alumnus from the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Science, Dr. Bill Lance. Dr. Lance founded Wildlife Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, which dominates the world market for drugs used in the capture and anesthesia of wild and exotic animals. Lance has written more than 30 articles in peer-reviewed scientific journals and has made numerous presentations at scientific meetings. He was elected a fellow in the American Academy of Veterinary Pharmacology and Therapeutics in 1995. He was also the 2003 recipient of the American Academy of Zoological Veterinarians Utility Achievement Award in Wildlife and Zoological Medicine. Dr. Lance was an adjunct faculty member in the Department of Clinical Sciences from 1990 to 2002, lecturing in anesthesia, analgesia, and wildlife, and has mentored many students interested in wildlife medicine, pharmacy, and innovations. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, I feel like that turtle that woke up one morning and found himself on top of a fence post and realized that somebody else had to put him up there. I arrived on the CSU campus in 1969, a captain in the Air Force, a career Air Force officer, veterinary officer, and the Air Force has decided they wanted to take one of their Air Force veterinarians and send them to graduate school in fisheries and wildlife biology. Well, I heard that rumor, flew to the Pentagon, found the person driving it. I said, I want that. He gave it to me, and he said, pick your school. Well, at that time, CSU was literally on the cutting edge of fisheries and wildlife biology, instrumental in doing the first attempt to model an ecosystem on a computer. So I came here pretty much first time I'd ever been in Fort Collins, walked into the office of Dr. Gus Swanson, who was chairman of the Fisheries and Wildlife Biology Department. And you look back and say, who are the people that have taken the risk on you? Well, here Gus was confronted with this veterinarian that wanted to get into fisheries and wildlife biology, and he took me on. He was the chairman of my committee. So I spent 2 years here under his tutorship, writing a master's paper on the use of sewage water for fisheries habitat and waterfowl habitat, and which we had a ball. I was running around all northern Colorado, every sewage lagoon that you had. we were doing surveys of birds and everything else. It was really quite a treat. Well, finished that up, and the Air Force had told me that when I finished here, I'd be part of their program to help them oversee the 2 million acres that the Air Force has under their management here in the United States. Well, I know it's hard to believe, but they lied. What they were grooming me for was a position in special operations. Now, you take an Okie veterinarian and tell him you're going into special operations, it's like a kid going to a candy store. So I got to spend the remainder of my Air Force career in special ops. Well, I finally had a change of life, got out of the Air Force, came back up to Colorado from Florida to do some hunting, and I knew that I was to come back to Fort Collins. Walked into the office of Dr. Chuck Hibbler. Chuck was the head of the Wild Animal Disease Center here. And I said, Chuck, I want to come back. He said, well, I'm not sure we can do this, but let me think about it. He thought about it overnight, went back to see him. He said, hey, I bet we can do this, this, and this. You talk about a man taking a risk. Here's someone that has been out of school for years, and I'm not the brightest bulb on the academic block. I'm just the truth. So he took a big risk, took me down to Arch Alexander's office, who was chairman of the PATH department then. He said, Arch, this is Bill. I want him to do a PhD under me. Take care of it. And I walked out of there with a PhD program behind me. So for the next 4 years, I had the privilege of running around the West, immobilizing wildlife, sucking out blood samples, determining what diseases they had, and mainly being under the tutelage of Dr. Chuck Hibbler. Chuck was one of those individuals that his outstanding attribute was not how much he knew, but the quality of the questions he would ask. He was that individual, you'd be in a meeting, and everybody's yabbing along, and Chuck would get their attention, and he would ask that question that took everyone to their academic knees. And that is where he taught me the secret, is ask the right questions at the right time. Well, he's provided the foundation for me to take my career in veterinary medicine into places that I never could have imagined. Over my career in wildlife medicine, I've been able to handle most of the large four-footed critters God's made. I really admire our peers in human medicine, but I really feel sorry for them. They only get to work with one species. We get the other 40,000. So my pitch is, and my statement is, veterinary medicine is the one career that will take you any place that you have the courage to go, and will provide a pathway to go beyond your wildest imagination. So I thank CSU for taking risk on this Okie. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bill, for sharing that story with us. Next, we would like to honor our next Alumnus Award recipient from the Walter Scott Junior College of Engineering, Chris Christopher. Chris was born in Greece and came to the United States on a student visa after completing high school and earned his bachelor's and master's degree in electrical engineering at CSU. After college, with the explicit encouragement of Dr. Aram Budak, he got a job at Hewlett-Packard. This later influenced him to become instrumental in the success of endowing the Budak Scholarship, which honors emeritus faculty member Aram Budak. He currently serves as the director of the Rocky Mountain Innosphere Incubator, director of Cloud Gen, and director of board vice chair of Aztec 8S. He has been a volunteer advisor to entrepreneurs for the Rocky Mountain Innosphere for the last 10 years and a guest lecturer at the Walter Scott Junior College of Engineering, as well as the College of Business at CSU. Congratulations, Chris Christopher. We are proud to call you a CSU Ram.
Good evening. It's a pleasure being here. And indeed, I am honored and humbled in being granted this particular award. Thank you very much to the College of Engineering and the Dean, Dr. McLean. Looking back in 1961, graduating from a rural high school with no English language proficiency, if somebody would have come and told me that I would be standing here this evening, I would certainly have dismissed them or thought that they were smoking something from Colorado. I did like school, and my parents, who were basically in honeybees and general farming, believed that education was really the ticket to a better life. So in pursuit of education, I ended up eventually at Colorado State. This great institution granted me an academic scholarship of $1,000 per year. In the 1960s, it was a lot of money. When in part-time work, I was making about $1 an hour. So fundamentally, that particular scholarship was instrumental in me realizing the dream that I had in graduating in electrical engineering and getting a solid foundation. Upon graduation, this great country and generous country allowed me to stay here. Otherwise, I would have to go back, serve in the Greek army, and pray for a job a few years down the road. I must add that I would not be here today without the support and encouragement of many people. And for that, I'm genuinely grateful. Many thanks to my lovely wife, Georgia, who always supported me in all the crazy endeavors that I undertook. Certainly to our daughters, two daughters, for the continuous support and understanding while they were growing up and I was traveling all over the world. And certainly to the whole family and friends. A number of them are here today in those tables over there. Thank you very much for the continuous support and encouragement. I also feel deep gratitude for Professor Emeritus Dr. Aram Budak. Some of you, most of you, you do not know him. But in any case, the second day I was on campus, this Greek graduate student found me to welcome me. Well, I can tell you that was not a welcome. He told me that, he asked me first, he says, what major do you have? I said, I'm going to electrical engineering. He says, oh, you are doomed. You are toast. I said, why? He says, this key professor in electrical engineering, Budak, he is Turkish. He's going to flunk you out. As a young guy, I was certainly concerned. Should I advise, should I take the advice of this character and change my major to something else? I had this dream of becoming an electrical engineer. So I thought to myself overnight, I didn't sleep very well that night. I thought to myself and I said, he's Turkish. I know this Greek-Turkish conflict, but if I study hard and I do well, he's going to be okay to me. Indeed, I stuck with it. Well, Professor Aram Budak was an excellent teacher, but furthermore, an excellent advisor and mentor. And later he became a dear friend, and he influenced my life greatly. He demanded, in my senior year, he demanded that I go and interview with Hewlett-Packard Company. I had no intention of doing so. I wanted to go in computer companies, and that company was small, and these instruments, et cetera. Well, I interviewed anyway, and the rest is history. I spent over 40 years with the company. And many thanks to my colleagues in Hewlett-Packard. Some of them are here this evening. I can tell you, they stood with me in rough times, and without their innovative spirit and their perseverance to produce great results, I would not be here today. So thank you very much, Colorado State. Keep up the good work. You are making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you for your truly inspiring story, Chris. Our next college alumnus honoree tonight is James Hubbard from the Warner College of Natural Resources. Jim served with the Colorado Forest Service for more than 34 years, rising to the highest rank in the agency, that of State Forester. During his tenure as Colorado State Forester, Hubbard served as president of the National Association of State Foresters, chaired the Council of Western State Foresters, and was liaison to the Western Governors Association. Jim went on to become the Deputy Chief Forester for the U.S. Forest Service, overseeing the agency's national programs for state and private lands. In 2011, the Jim Hubbard Fire Management Building was dedicated on the CSU Foothills campus. In August of this year, the U.S. Senate confirmed Jim to serve as the USDA Undersecretary for Natural Resources and the Environment. We are proud to name James Hubbard the 2018 Warner College of Natural Resources Honor Alumnus.
Thank you very much. When I graduated from Colorado State, I went to Oregon and got into forest inventory, where it was out in the woods every day, walking through the woods, essentially counting trees, but it was just me and the trees. I kind of liked that. I came back to Colorado and got into all things forestry, and then wildfire kind of took over. It became a dominant issue, and that led me from there into policy, and it wasn't just me and the trees anymore. And it was a lot of people with different values. And it made me think back to a young student at Colorado State, and I'm in the forestry school. I'm standing in the hall. I'm looking at a display, and it's an issue of the day. And one of the faculty members, some of you might remember JVK Wagar, he comes walking by. He stops and sees me looking at the display, and he stands there for a minute, and pretty soon he says, "Well, what do you think?" And I didn't know. So I said, "I don't know what I think." And he said, "Well, you should," and off he goes. And he was right, I should. And I took that to heart and started applying that. So that and a lot of other things gave me a good preparation to take on some of those issues, and I continued to learn. My wife Cindy adjusted that learning along the way, so I didn't get too far off track. And I'm still engaged in that. I tried to come back to Fort Collins and retire, and it didn't work, so I'm still engaged in a very different world, but one that still represents a lot of change, a lot of what do you think about that policy issue? And what are you going to do about it? Well, I would say that I'm well prepared because of what I got at Colorado State and what I learned and how to continue to learn and apply it. And I thank you for the recognition, and I thank you for sending me out in the world so well grounded.
Thank you, James. The Distinguished Graduate of the Last Decade, or Gold Award, is given to an alumnus who has made great strides and great impact in the past 10 years since graduation. This year's Gold Award recipient is Zubaida Bai. Zubaida has been busy changing the world since earning her MBA from Colorado State University. An engineer by trade, the native of India grew up watching mothers giving birth in unsafe, unsanitary conditions. The mother of 3 children established Fort Collins Base, Asia, with her husband, a company aimed at providing simple, low-cost, clean birth kits to mothers in India. Since the company's inception, Asia has sold more than 400,000 units and prevented countless deaths due to infections caused by unsanitary conditions. She has won dozens of international social entrepreneur awards after raising more than $20 million from the private and public sectors to support her projects. In 2016, she was named by the United Nations as one of its 9 Sustainable Development Goals pioneers. Please join me in congratulating Zubaida Bai and welcoming her to the stage.
Oh my God, I hate to be between the birthday girl and a good night's sleep. Thank you so much for this honor. I think I'm extremely humbled to be here on this stage. I started my journey, I would say, as a young girl, wanting to do something really different, and not to struggle like my mom did. And I think I grew up with people asking me the question, what? What are you saying? And there was one fine day that I met this man who said, wow, and I got married to him, and he's right here. And we began this journey where we really wanted to help people that we saw struggle all our lives, especially our mothers. And Eyes was born. It was not Isa, it is Eyes. That's fine, and it's a way that we decided we're going to look at our women's world differently. And we launched Eyes with a lot of passion. And again, I think while me and him had already coined the name and we knew we were going to do something with women, I found myself standing next to somebody who was asking me, well, what are you planning to do? And I started my rant of, well, this is this great technology thing out there. You know, I'm an engineer. I want to give back to the world. And he said, well, you should consider CSU. And I looked at him and said, well, I'm already a mechanical engineer. I have a master's. I'm doing well. Why would I come to CSU? A year after that, he wrote to me and said, well, how are you doing? Are you still considering CSU? And I was like, wow, you know, I should look this up. And I remember looking up Colorado State University and the Global Sustainable Enterprise Program, and I was like, this sounds like something we should do. And of course, Habib and I, who's right here, we decided we're going to do that. And we came here with our 2-year-old son, only to bring our dream of setting up a social and sustainable enterprise and make it a reality. That being said, we finished the program, after which I ventured back into the world with new tools, looking at the world differently, not necessarily an engineer, but as a businesswoman. And here I found that literally people were using rusted tools, broken glass pieces to conduct childbirth. And that's something that really hit me really hard. And I could not fathom a process where all of us were being born and we existed, and somebody had to suffer because of that. So I decided, join hands with my husband, we created this $3 product based on the World Health Organization's recommendations that today has impacted lives of over 1 million mothers and babies. And we're really proud and humbled to be doing that. Over the course of time, I realized that it's not an easy world out there for a woman. And I have a strong husband who always tells me that it's a sin if I do not use my voice. And so today, post Eyes, we've launched a new foundation called Happy Woman Foundation to reduce the barriers between mothers and fathers in the workplace and to help mothers build their entrepreneurship dreams and create an ecosystem of not only coaching them, but also providing them the support and the funding to go out and be the entrepreneurs that they really want to be. And I think this platform has definitely given me the voice, and I'm very, very thankful for my husband for saying that wow and getting married to me and standing behind me as a rock, and CSU for giving me the tools and the confidence to be where I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Zubaida, and I apologize for the name mistake. I'm so sorry. So that concludes our first round of award recipients, and what a fantastic group. Can we just give them all another round of applause? Before we move on to our final 3 awards this evening, please welcome to the stage the 14th President of Colorado State University, Dr. Tony Frank.
This event is always a wonderful time to see so many old friends, people that it's been too long between times when we've seen each other. And it reminds me a little bit as I was looking across the room earlier tonight. It reminds me a little bit of the feeling at an extended family reunion, except for the fact that I don't go to my family reunions, and I've pretty much come to this one regularly for basically the last 25 years. This one's a little bittersweet for me. This will be, for the last 10 years, I've been here as the president of your university. And this will be my last time in front of you in that role. And it has caused me to as I've made my announcement and I'm going through this year, it's caused me to pause a little bit and maybe savor a few of the moments a little bit more. And homecoming coming up gives a lot of opportunity to savor moments. There are so many wonderful things about this weekend, right? The parade, the bonfire, the rally, the game. But I love having this event be part of that weekend. It's a perfect connection because homecoming, if it's about anything, is about reconnecting with people. And that's what this event is about. It's about people and celebrating their accomplishments. And when you look at the accomplishments of our awardees tonight, it's nothing short of incredibly impressive. So join me in giving all of our honorees another round of applause. I hope that as you think about what these people have accomplished and what the honorees before them have accomplished and what the other CSU alumni around the world are accomplishing, it fills you all with a great source of pride in your alma mater. Pride is a theme in tonight's program, and that's not by accident. There's a new brand and marketing campaign that Vice President Tom Milligan has started to roll out called the Proud to Be campaign. Some of you may have seen the first spot that has come out from that. It's an advertisement that shows various CSU alums from different professions, physicians, farmers, athletes, artists, going through their days, and they're all either softly or loudly singing that Proud to Be a CSU Ram song. And the ad ends with a young woman in her graduation robes walking by herself across the grass of the Oval, singing really softly to herself that she's proud to be a CSU Ram. It's a powerful ad. Now, many of you know that in my speeches I like to take certain words that are themes of the evening and deconstruct them, maybe get into their etymology, find some connection to the theme of the evening, and use that as a device to make a point. And I'm not going to do that tonight with Proud to Be because it's not the words of that campaign that really give it its punch and its power. It's the fact that that phrase, proud to be, and what that means to all of us is more than just the words. It's really an emotion. It's a feeling. It's that feeling of being a part of something that's larger than ourselves, larger than each one of us. That feeling is something I've had the privilege of enjoying every day for the last 10 years. As I've come up the steps of the administration building, having the honor of knowing that whatever the challenges were that were out there, the wonderful team of men and women that I had the privilege of working with were up to helping to meet that challenge, just as the people who had inhabited that building before us since it went up had helped to guide the university through no shortage of challenges. The people in that building and across this campus have worked through the Great Depression, World War II, the surge of veteran students coming back to our campuses with the GI Bill, the space race, civil rights era, the Vietnam War, the burning of Old Main, the Equal Rights Amendment. I stood on the steps of that building in 1993 and made the decision there to come to Colorado State University. I stood there in 1997 after the flood on the steps of that administration building as a young department chair, listening to President Yates talk about the resilience of this institution. I remember sitting in the president's conference room in 2001 as a fairly new vice president, as part of the cabinet, trying to wrap our heads, like all of us in our society, we're trying to wrap our heads around what September 11th meant for us as a society. And I remember sitting in that same conference room with our leadership team wrestling with the Great Recession, trying to make sure that we were setting up a path for the university that would assure that we not just survived that time, but that we would emerge on the other side prepared to thrive, prepared to be the exceptional university of excellence that we are today. It's that feeling of being a part of something that's greater than ourselves. It's the same feeling that we get when we walk the Oval. And it doesn't matter the season, it doesn't matter if it's just been covered with a fresh blanket of white snow and you could hear a pin drop or a snowflake fall. If it's a lazy summer afternoon when the only thing moving out there are a couple of frisbees spinning through the air. Or if it's one of those crisp fall days, standing under the golden leaves of those elms with the music of the marching band off in the distance. Or if it's one of those spring days where the green is so bright it almost hurts your eyes and the students in their graduation robes are lining up to have their pictures taken under that banner, "Congratulations, graduates," across the front of the administration building. In any of those times and in all the others, that Oval has been for all of us the timeless heart of this campus, because it gives all of us that feeling that we're part of something that is larger than ourselves. That's a feeling I get when I hear names like Henry, Lori, Morgan, the people for whom our next 3 awards are named. Jim and Nadine Henry, alumni of the century, the quintessential green and gold couple. Charles Lori, the longest-serving president in the history of Colorado State University. Bill Morgan, the man who oversaw the transition of our university from Colorado A&M to Colorado State University, and in so many ways is the father of CSU. The people who are going to receive those awards tonight live up to being a part of that heritage. Norman Ann Jorgensen, whose passion for CSU is legendary and who are always among the first to step up and champion any effort that will advance this university. Dennis Graham, who's not with us this evening, who shared the wisdom gained in his own stellar legal career with countless students preparing to follow in his footsteps. And Kim Jordan, entrepreneur, philanthropist, tireless champion of sustainable, environmentally responsible business practices, who lives her values every day through her work and service, including her role as a member of the Board of Governors of the CSU system. You're going to hear from all these people in a moment as soon as I shut up and get out of their way, but I want to close with one last thought. This spring, it will be 25 years since I had the privilege of first setting foot on this campus. 25 years from now, the students who first set foot on this campus aren't born yet. They're not conceived yet. Many of their parents have yet to come to Colorado State University where they'll meet. There's a certain order of operations there, but we won't get into that. When those students arrive, this university will be a different place. Just as Lincoln could not have imagined the wonderful universities that grew out of his great experiment and couldn't have imagined what's here before us today, I suspect it will be hard for us to imagine what this place will look like in the future. And I think 25 years will bring remarkable changes. But whatever those changes are, those students will still walk these same halls. They'll still stroll the same grassy lawns. They'll still honor the same traditions. My suspicion is they'll still sing that same song. And when they do that, they will share something with each and every one of us. They'll share something that I have had the privilege of sharing with each of you who are alums of this great university for the past 25 years of my life. And that's the ability to say with an immense sense of gratitude, I'm proud to be a CSU Ram. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Frank. After you speak, I always feel so emotional and inspired, so Thank you. The Jim and Nadine Henry Award is given to individuals who exemplify extraordinary service to Colorado State University through academic, athletic, and alumni programs. It was created in honor of Jim and Nadine Henry, who were named Alumni of the Century in 2000 for their uncompromising support and passion for all things Colorado State University. It's difficult to imagine more ardent supporters of Colorado State University than Norm and Ann Jorgensen. The Jorgensens not only love CSU and all things green and gold, they put their money where their heart is, supporting everything from Norm's beloved College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences to Rams athletics. The Jorgensens were among the first to throw their financial support behind the building of Canvas Stadium, pledging $2 million in 2013, a move that inspired other donors to jump on board. They are also passionate supporters of the men's and women's basketball programs and the CSU men's golf team. In 2015, they made another significant gift, creating the Jorgensen Laboratories Incorporated Chair in Clinical Science in the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. This endowed chair supports a faculty position in emergency and critical care at the James L. Voss Veterinary Teaching Hospital.
I have always felt like the Jorgensens were like everyone's friend. When you're around them, they make you feel proud.
Norm and Ann are two of the most deserving people who ever received the award. The service, the commitment, the support, and involvement in the life of Colorado State University. They're the perfect example of that. Not only do they give and support and all of that sort of thing, they're in the crowd cheering.
Every time I turn around at events, Norm and Ann are there. They're figures that the kids recognize and they engage with them, and I think that's an important piece of what CSU is all about. So to me, that's one of the most distinguishing factors of Norm and Ann Jorgensen is the fact that they care about people, they care about young people, and they really understand what it means to be in the lives of our students.
Norm and Ann have been dedicated supporters of the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences for years and years and years, and have had a material impact.
They have not only represented CSU well in terms of just coming back and being part of the alumni movement, but they've been very successful out in the world. And they wear a badge of CSU on their sleeve. They're very proud that they were here. They talk about it a lot, and I think that is what we want all of our successful alumni to do.
The impact of their influence on the university now and in the future is enormous.
Ann and Norm, please join us on stage to receive your award. Your service to Colorado State University, your passion for the Rams, your tremendous impact in so many areas of the university have truly been appreciated. Thank you so much.
Okay, I don't know if it's more of a challenge to follow Dr. Tony Frank when he speaks, or the young lady with the tremendous success of saving hundreds of thousands of babies over in India. But anyway, some very proud achievement there. But we were walking in here tonight with Christy Bolander, and she said, "Norm, have you been down to the Rams Killer yet and check that out?" And I had kind of one of these flashback moments. Remember, as a freshman walking over here from Parmalee Hall, I was 18 at the time. You could drink 3.2 beer. And microbrews, craft breweries, what were those? We never had those back then, right? So I had hair. I had lots of hair back then. Weighed about 150 pounds, but things have changed a little bit in that regard. But anyway, on behalf of both Ann and I, we want to be very, very thankful for CSU to give us this prestigious award, especially meaningful because we did know, Ann and I did know Jim and Nadine Henry and Kathleen, their daughter, sitting over there tonight, and we knew the commitment, the hard work, and just the things that they did to really be involved and engaged with CSU. So it's very nice for us to be honored in memory of them. This award also is kind of a recognition, I guess, of the years, maybe decades spanning that we have been involved with CSU and been a proud member of this community. But it's also kind of a lifetime achievement award, which I'm a little bit afraid of, is thinking that, you know what, we feel like we got a lot of years left to be giving and supporting and attending a lot of CSU events. So we're not done yet by any means, right? So Ann and I have both enjoyed CSU events over the years, and the last few years we've been attending many women's games, both the basketball and volleyball we seem to really kind of gravitate towards. But Ann's appreciation for CSU's athletics probably got off to a little bit of a shaky start when we first started dating back in the 80s when we both lived in Aurora. I invited her to 2 different CSU football games. She didn't know who CSU was, and she didn't really like football. I didn't tell her maybe that Terry Nugent was playing up here, that she might be more interested in seeing him play. But I got turned down on both those first dates, but I thought I'd switch gears and maybe ask her out on a bike ride. So I kind of switched gears, and lo and behold, things developed into what they have, right? So we're very, very, very proud of that. My own personal story is a little bit, my dad was a big influence in my life. He was a veterinarian that graduated from the Royal Veterinary College in Copenhagen, Denmark, back in 1943. In 1943, of course, the Nazis were running Denmark. It was a little tough time there, but eventually they immigrated to the United States, went to Minnesota, where all the Scandinavians kind of ended up in southern Minnesota. He started a small business, as he was a small-town veterinarian, and started a business in his garage, kind of importing veterinary instruments that kind of grew a little bit. But we moved to Loveland in 1970, where I went to high school. We still had our business in our garage, and I had this goal, of course, a lot of people do maybe in high school or not, that I want to go to the CSU vet school. I want to get out and practice for a while. I want to come back to my small family business. Again, we're only in our garage. And then I want to be able to come back and have that as my career. And I was lucky enough to get into CSU vet school, graduated in 1980. And from there, I practiced in California and both in Colorado too, and returned to the family business and grew out of our garage and just developed it into a nice business. We're still based down in Loveland. And that success that we've had has been able to allow us to give back to CSU. We've been very, very fortunate that way, because really I owe my whole business career and our company's business to the education I got at CSU, the vet school. Was able to go around the country and around the world and visit with veterinarians and veterinary companies around the world and have a very successful career because of the education I got here at CSU. So I'm very, very thankful in that. When you look at things like the new stadium, very proud as a flagship of this university as far as buildings go. Was out in San Jose last week with Joe and Jen Parker. We were at the San Jose State Stadium, which got a lot to be desired. Now, Jen was worried about me because where I was eating a hot dog that was multicolored that they gave to service up in the athletic box, right? I'm okay. I made it okay. But we do have to be proud that talking to Joe and some of the other boosters who are there, we have one of the most beautiful stadiums in the entire country. We've got to be very proud of that accomplishment. It didn't happen overnight, but it's certainly there now. My dream for the vet school program was to be able to have an endowed professorship chair. It took a lot of time, took some cajoling to my brother Hans, who's a graduate of the vet school in Minnesota, my sister and brother-in-law down in Loveland, and we were able to accomplish this last year. And we got a endowed chair in the clinical sciences. Talking to Wayne Jensen tonight, he's assured me that they are going to fill that chair with somebody shortly, so that's good to hear. Also been very supportive of some of the interesting kind of outreach programs that CSU Vet School has down at Todos Santos, Mexico. Up in Alaska now, they have some of the remote villages that we're reaching out and helping with veterinary care, and I've been proud to be involved with that too. So they're doing a lot of different things around the world. Our daughter here tonight is Annalise. She's a graduate of CSU Business School, and she's studying to get her MBA from CSU as well. And I do remember back When she was first looking at colleges, we went around the country looking at different places, and finally she said, Dad, you know what, CSU was good enough for you, and it'll be good enough for me. So anyway, thank you, Annalise. So I think that kind of summed it up. But so again, very heartfelt thanks for Ann and I for this recognition, and we do appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for all you do for the university. The Charles A. Laurie Public Service Award is given to individuals who have demonstrated exceptional and sustained leadership in their community, professional field, personal commitments, and through significant contribution to Colorado State University. Dennis Graham retired earlier this year after serving for 16 years on the Colorado Court of Appeals as one of the most respected judges in the state. His announcement closed the book on a 42-year-long career in law that has roots in his undergraduate experience at CSU. Judge Graham began his career in 1975 clerking for U.S. Court of Appeals 10th Circuit Judge Robert H. McWilliams. He spent the next 26 years in private practice in Denver, primarily focusing on complex commercial law and an emphasis on securities. He was appointed to the Court of Appeals by Governor Bill Owens in 2002 and spent the next 16 years building his reputation as a fair and knowledgeable jurist. Last year, the Denver Business Journal honored him with a DBA Judicial Excellence Award, while in 2014, he was given the Judicial Excellence Award at the Denver Bar Association. Always a proud Ram, Judge Graham was happy to share his expertise with students at CSU. He was an original member of the steering committee for Rams JD, an organization of CSU alumni, attorneys, and judges who hold an annual dinner to support a scholarship for a CSU student intent on a legal career. Alumnus Janine Moore, a senior associate legal counsel for the CSU systems and a former clerk of Graham, said, "I can think of no one more deserving of the Charles A. Laurie Public Service Award than Judge Graham. He represents the very best that CSU has to offer, and I'm proud to add my name to his long list of admirers."
When I used to get that old question, what can you do with a philosophy degree? I would always think of Dennis Graham. And then I'd be able to say, well, for one thing, you can be a fantastic attorney, a superb Court of Appeals judge, and an extraordinary public servant. That is Dennis Graham.
He is just a very ethically and morally centered person. And those two traits alone have guided him through not just his career, but his family life and the personal commitments that he's maintained.
Dennis is an individual that cares deeply about the rule of law and the importance that lawyers play in the community. And because of that, he always comports himself with dignity and grace that has a way of elevating the profession.
He is a guy who has a true servant's heart. And that's certainly seen in his professional life and his family life.
Dennis is committed to the next generation. I don't think I ever spoke to a student who was either in one of those classes, at that club meeting, or went on the tour that didn't just rave about what a fantastic, encouraging mentor he was. He is generous with his time. He is a wonderful role model, and you can just see students thinking, I want to be him someday.
Unfortunately, my uncle can't be here this evening as he is recovering from an illness in the hospital. I know he is truly honored to have even been considered for this award and would love nothing more than to be here this evening to accept it in person. But because of the current situation, I'd like to, on his behalf, thank Colorado State University for such a wonderful honor and for this award.
Well, despite his absence, we hope that he's doing well, and we are grateful for all that he has done for the university and his career in law. Thank you.
We have now arrived at the William E. Morgan Alumni Achievement Award. During his tenure as the 8th president of Colorado State University, Bill Morgan was credited with transforming the school from a small college into a major university. The William E. Morgan Alumni Achievement Award is the highest honor given by the Alumni Association and is reserved for alumni who have excelled at the national and international level. Kim Jordan embodies the characteristics cherished at Colorado State University: hardworking, innovative, and dedicated to making the world a better place. That's why she was an easy choice to win the William E. Morgan Alumni Achievement Award. As the co-founder of New Belgium Brewery in Fort Collins, Kim is the most successful female in American craft brewing. Since the company was launched in her basement in 1991, Jordan has vaulted New Belgium into the craft brewing stratosphere. New Belgium is the 4th largest craft brewer in the nation and ranks 11th overall among American brewers in total sales. Under her leadership, New Belgium Brewery has created some of the country's most iconic beers, including Fat Tire and Old Aggie Superior Lager, which New Belgium partnered with CSU to create and has become tremendously popular despite only being sold in Colorado. While Kim has enjoyed enormous success, it was her unique style of ownership that set her apart from other entrepreneurs. From the beginning, New Belgium has been dedicated to environmentally friendly and sustainable business practices. And unlike most major breweries, New Belgium is 100% employee-owned. Kim is a dedicated philanthropist, and in 2013 launched the New Belgium Family Foundation with her 2 sons as a way to continue to express their commitment to social and environmental impact through mission-aligned investing and philanthropy. She is a passionate supporter of her alma mater, making significant contributions to CSU's fermentation science program and to athletics. The New Belgium porch at Canvas Stadium is an enormously popular gathering spot for CSU fans on game days and other campus occasions. Jordan stepped down as New Belgium CEO in 2015, but remains chair of the board and oversees long-term strategy. Kim currently serves as secretary on CSU Board of Governors.
Kim is someone who's always continued to find ways to give back, and when you look at her involvement with CSU, it really is multiple touch points. It's not just cutting checks and supporting the university financially, or not just showing up with her time, but it's all of those things.
I grew up in a place where there's a powerful woman rocking the brewing industry, and that was Kim. So it only made sense that I could do that same thing if I wanted to.
I love that Kim, she's fearless in this conversation. She's willing to admit, where she has skill and where she has expertise, but also where she doesn't.
The space we're sitting in here right now, the space is named the New Belgium Fermentation Science and Technology Laboratory, but honestly, Kim personally gave half of the money. Without Kim's personal involvement, this would not be possible. The space would not be here, it would not be what it is. And there are hundreds of students that have gone through here and directly been impacted.
One of the most important things she's done in building out this business is seek out diverse viewpoints and hire diverse people, and I think that really has been the foundation of our success.
Being a leader in corporate social responsibility is incredibly important, particularly in this day and age, and being a female CEO and a leader in that aspect is incredibly important.
She's directly influencing fantastic education for students, research that impacts the industry, and then extension and outreach that, again, benefits the industry and the state as a whole and beyond.
Kim is a leader.
Thank you to you as well. You guys have done a yeoman's job up here. Congratulations. Good evening. one of the amazing and happy surprises of being an entrepreneur and a business founder is that you get to choose your path. You get to decide what matters to you. You get to step out there in the world, whether it's saying, we're going to open up the books and show all of our coworkers where all of the money goes, or selling the company to them, or holding a 25,000 person bike parade, or advocating, if for those of you who live in Fort Collins, you're painfully and hopefully giddily aware of Tour de Fat and its impact on this community. Or saying that you want to stand up at City Council and say that 100% renewable energy is a worthy step for our citizens in Fort Collins to take. That's been an unbelievable gift for me. And the next surprise for me has been in the work that I've been able to do with Dr. Frank and the Board of Governors to really get to see a behind-the-curtain view of what this land grant, that's for you, buddy, university does. First, they start with students. They always start with students and student success in the whole spectrum of a student. And then there are all the other attendant pieces that come with the privilege of being a land-grant university, including rural outreach, the work that CSU does to really try to bridge the more urban and rural student experience, community experience is nothing short of breathtaking. And I think you'll see more as we go forward. I look forward to seeing Dr. Frank's work as he moves into that role solely and that focus. I would like to say I am on the hiring committee, so we could drag this out for a pretty long time and have Tony at least at one more of these celebrations as time goes on. And I have to admit, I've always loved CSU, but I didn't really understand how much I loved it until I've had that privilege of being able to really see what faculty do, what staff do, how much care there is about how we show up in the world. And so for those of you who don't have that wonderful opportunity, clearly you've had your own wonderful opportunities. The stories that you've told tonight touch all of us. I'm honored to be here among incredible work out in the world. But I just want you to know that across the board, through the work that the Alumni Association, the foundation, the system, the colleges, Pueblo, CSU Global, CSU Fort Collins, it's an incredible force. And I have been just deeply gratified to be a part of that. No leader, no good leader, thinks that they got where they are by themselves. And first I need to make sure that I thank my family, my love, Dick Cantwell, my boys, their wives and soon-to-be wives. This is a big weekend for us. You heard I turned 60 this weekend, and we have an engagement party and this, and it's an embarrassment of riches, and I just feel wildly honored, and I'm thankful to all of you for being here. And then there are my coworkers at New Belgium. There's Jordana Barrick, her partner. Mark is here as well tonight. My life doesn't work without the incredible power of Jordana, not just her, she refers to herself as my external hard drive, and people laugh, and it's like, no, really, actually, that's really how it goes. But between her heart for New Belgium and her heart for the work that the foundation does and for the work that our family office does, that confidant role and friend and partnership is just fills my heart with gratitude. So, and then there are all of my coworkers at New Belgium, some of the people that you saw on that screen, people I've worked with for years and years. They were kids. We grew up together. They saw my kids grow up. It's been a rich, wonderful surprise of a life. And there's so much more to come. I look forward to being able to participate with all of you. And thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Kim, for your passion and commitment to CSU. Thank you, Dr. Tony Frank, for speaking, and thank you to all of our award participants or recipients that were here tonight. At this time, we would like to ask our award recipients to come back to the stage for one group picture. Thank you. So without a doubt, these amazing people are among some of Colorado State University's most passionate, influential, and exceptional alumni and friends. And so if you want to, you can come up. If you want an award, please come to the stage. And I know you guys have been clapping a lot, but this is like the second to last time. So can you please give one more big round of applause for everyone who won?
We hope that you all have enjoyed your evening. On behalf of Colorado State University and the Alumni Association, thank you again for all being here. It has been a pleasure serving as your MCs. We hope that you're as proud as we are to be a part of the RAM family. Thank you and have a great evening. Go Rams!